Hello, welcome to 3 Design. Subcorporations include 3 Community, 3 Portfolio, Spyfilms, and the EM. Here is where we teach you how to 3D design, print, and create for artistic purposes. This is Tutorial 1, the brainstorming. When creating 3D artwork, there are various things that you need to think about. First, you need your idea. Generally, 3D designing is used to create sculptures, abstract, and models. Sculptures and abstract artworks are usually random pieces of art that use a wide variety of shapes and sizes put together to create the artwork. Models are based off of designs that have already been made. For example, you may decide to recreate a car from a favorite movie, or you may decide to create something brand new. Whatever this is, you need to keep this in mind while creating your 3D design. In a future video, we will go over the printing portion of the tutorial. However, when creating 3D designs, you still want to keep in mind your printer. Certain printers have their limits when printing. For example, the Athenia printer that we use cannot print well on certain angles. Others have height limits that confine your designs to specific dimensions. This means that you should get to know your printer well before you start printing. Otherwise, if you make a mistake, it can be very costly. You also want to keep in mind your printing material, including the quality and the color. The better quality the material is, the better quality print your final product will be. On some products, it is possible to switch your color partway through the print. However, make sure that you have experience with this before doing so. The slightest movement in your partly completed artwork can cause the rest of it to be off in the printing. This means that you will waste money on materials that shouldn't be lost. So when you open up Autodesk Inventor Professional 2018, it will come up to this screen right here. Go ahead and click on the button over here that says New Part. So while this loads, a part file is a file where your 3D artwork is stored. So as you can see, it is ready. However, sometimes you may have stuff that have been closed off by accident. If you want to re-access it, you can go to View, User Interface, and we're going to click on Model. And as you can see, this taskbar came up on the side, and that means we are ready to print. But before we do anything else, you want to go to Tools, Document Settings, and Units, and make sure that they are the ones that you want. If I was printing in millimeters, but my units were set to inches, it could be very costly because our printer can only print 15 centimeters. However, if I was to use millimeters, but instead it was actually inches, I would have a design that will not print properly at all. So over at the top here, we have our sketch ribbon and our 3D model ribbon. We are going to use these most often in our tutorials. So get to know them well before you begin 3D printing. Get to learn what they do and how they work. This tutorial will go over very briefly what each of these does. So over here we have our line. And as you can see, when we clicked on this, it came up with a plane surface. So we have 3 different planes to choose from, and for this it does not matter what plane we click on. However, in your design, make sure that whatever is the base of your design is planted on the XZ plane. So we are going to click on the XY plane right here, and again, make sure you know what your design needs to be on. So right now we still have our line selected. As you can see, we have our axis in the middle, and right where our cursor is, there's a yellow dot. This is where one of our points will be, and if I go over this, the middle point right here, it turns green. That is because this point right here is already a defined point. So we can click on it and we can drag to create our line. However, I want to change the dimension of this. So what we are going to do, we're going to double click. And as you can see, we can edit it. So I'm going to make it 10, and I'm going to press enter. So now it's 10 millimeters long. We can draw circles with our circle tool. So this time we are going to click on the other end of our line right here. Because every time you create a line, the beginning and end of your line are predefined points, as well as the very middle. So right here we have a 5 millimeter radius circle. We can also create ellipses. So we are going to go right to the center. We are going to drag out and up. So as you can see, we created an ellipse. Over here you have arcs. So we can click on a point, drag it out and over. Over here we have our rectangle, so we can draw boxes. And if you click on the drop down boxes of any one of these, you will come up with very similar shapes that you can create. However, each one is drawn differently. For example, this 2-point center rectangle places a point at the middle and places a point at the corner. And again, you can edit your dimensions as so. Over here, we have our extrusion features. However, because it is not a finished sketch, we cannot extrude anything at this time. So we are going to click cancel, finish sketch, and then we can head over to our 3D model. So we're going to click on our box, and as you can see, this is the extrusion interface that we have. So we are going to make it 15 millimeters, and we are going to go symmetric. This means that it will print 15 centimeters this way and 15 centimeters the other way. And we're just going to click OK. As you can see, the rest of our sketch disappeared, but that's okay. Over here, we're going to go back to our sketch and we can click on a face. However, when you are printing on a cylindrical surface, you cannot actually sketch on the surface. So that does create some problems when printing. So other features in the sketch tool, you can add text to your design. So we are going to click on this side face here. We're going to click in the corner of where we want our text to be. We're going to choose our font, the size, and the style of our text. So apparently this says hi, but we are going to change the font to make it something readable. Hi. There we go. So as you can see, it created these black letters on the side of our sketch. So what we are going to do, we're going to click it, and we're going to extrude it all the way in. And as you can see, some problems were encountered, but that's okay. We're just going to click cancel, because we don't need to worry about that right now. So we're going to go extrude, and we're going to go 2 millimeters. There we go. So now we have hi on the side of our object. Other stuff that you can do, we're going to take a rectangle, and we're going to draw a rectangle on the side of this face, just like so. And we're going to go over to our revolve section. We're going to click on our face. We're going to take our axis. And we're just going to click on this line right here. And as you can see, it took our rectangle and revolved it all the way around. But perhaps I only want it to be 90 degrees or 45, maybe even 30. Other features that you can use include holes. So as you can see, it put it in a hole right here. And we can change the size of it, just like so. We can fillet edges. So if we click on this edge, as you can see, it created a rounded feature. We can also chamfer edges, and what this does, it makes a straight edge. Over here we have a loft feature, so we're going to click on this and this, and we're going to click OK. As you can see, it brought the rectangle up to the top of our circle. So again, I encourage you to play around with these different tools and figure out what each of them does. This will make your life a whole lot easier when you're trying to learn how to use the different tools, and then you will also be able to find them much easier as well when we actually go into our tutorials. In our tutorials, we are going to be building a 3D model of a simple plane. However, if you plan on following along exactly with our tutorials, we do recommend not to, only because if something goes wrong, it will be wrong in your design as well. Make sure you head over to tutorial 2 for more, and for other ideas, check out 3 Community to see what others have created. As well, go to our rules, user code, and membership page to request a user code and a membership, so you have access to posting and our 3 portfolio website. Thank you.